This show contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Movies with Ron, movies with Ron.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Movies with Ron.
All right, well, Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Yeah.
Last week, episode 68. The director, Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah.
He did an interview. Check this out. Someone asked him, speaking of music, John Denver's music plays a big role in this film. We've had a lot of John Denver music in movies this year.
Yeah.
And his response is, don't wind me up, fucking hell. He never realized. All right. So the interviewer says, his music is also in Alien Covenant, Okja, and Logan Lucky. Why is this happening? They just asked him that question.
Yeah.
He says, I have no idea and I cannot believe it. I wrote John Denver into the script 2.5 years ago thinking no one really talks about John Denver anymore.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's what all the other filmmakers think as well.
So we're bumping around here. Great minds think alike, that thing?
Well, I figured it out.
Okay.
John Denver, the singer, who's been in like 10 fucking movies this year.
Yeah.
His real name is Henry John Deutschendorf. He was born in Roswell, New Mexico.
Whoa.
Yeah. More, his father was an Air Force officer.
Oh.
Now, already, not a good combination there. All right. Area 51, Air Force. Come on. All right.
Oh, boy.
Now, if you add up the digits of his birth date, 12/31/43, and his death date, 10/12/97, and the time he took off, 1,700 hours, and the time he crashed, 1727, and his age, 53, and the yards offshore he crashed his plane. That was his death, the plane crash, 100 yards offshore.
Okay.
And then subtract the number of years it has been since the Roswell incident, which is 50. All right, someone do the math. Too late, I already have.
All right.
What do you get? You get 18. What year is coming up, guys? 2018.
Wow.
Holy shit. And we all know what 18 is. 666s, motherfuckers.
Oh, holy shit.
Holy fucking shit. The mark of the beast. All right, that's it.
So, is John Denver an alien, or is he Satan?
Welcome to episode 69 of Movies with Ron, the podcast where my older brother recaps a movie he saw from beginning to end, for me and for you, because we like his versions better. It's okay if you've seen the movie. It's okay if you haven't seen it. The experience is unique. So let's get it on. I'm Chris, your MC for the time being. Across from me, our sound guy, Rick.
Yo.
And here he is, folks.
He's the ball cracker, death on foot. Ding! You know him, you love him. He's Ron.
Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, episode what?
69, dudes!
All right. Seriously, though, Kingsman 2? Pedro Pascal should have been in the marketing materials for that movie. You got Jeff Bridges and Channing Tatum all over that shit.
Jeff Bridges.
When you ride with me, you ride with the best.
Okay, in the wedding scene at the very end,
Yeah.
they filmed Mark Strong at the wedding with robot legs.
Seriously.
Yeah, but then they cut him from the film.
What the hell they do that for?
I don't know. Maybe they're saving it for the next one?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Anyways.
That is what they're doing.
And it occurred to me at the end battle when Elton John's like, if you save the world, you get a backstage pass. That was the same as the princess offering Eggsy anal.
Yeah.
At the end, it never clicked.
Oh, man. That's why it was so funny.
Yeah, okay.
Now that's funny.
All right, y'all know Home Video Hustle,
Oh, yeah.
the podcast?
Yeah, I know him.
We had our episode on Mother.
Right.
Kind of freaked us out, changed us, got emotional, lost control.
I don't like to think about it.
They recently had a similar episode
Oh, yeah?
because they do a thing where he puts 5 random DVDs in a bag, and then his co-host just randomly pulls one out.
Yeah.
And he pulled out Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, wow.
So the whole episode is them like, what did we do?
Yeah.
But yeah, Home Video Hustle. Check them out. Okay, Liam Neeson is unretiring from action movies.
Hey.
Apparently he retired from them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he took a hint. He realized it was getting a little fucking ridiculous with him being 80 years old, trying to be in these Taken movies.
Right.
You know, the overplayed thing is the one thing in the last Taken movie of it's Liam Neeson jumping a fence. And it's literally 4 seconds. Just him jumping a fence, and it's like 16 different shots.
Really?
It takes to film 80-year-old Liam Neeson jumping a fence.
Oh, wow.
It's the same thing you were complaining about with the new Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But he wants to do more of them. So there you go.
Oh, all right.
How about you, sir?
It'll just be I'll just do CGI now.
That's okay. I'm ready for more, Liam.
They're like, okay, now you got to kick this guy. And he's like, well, can't you just put that in post?
What are you having, Chris?
This cocktail's called a Chattanooga Pussy Face.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah. Ever had one?
I've had one.
They're so elegant.
Good experience.
What you got there, man?
Well, Chris, it's a subtle blend of strong spirits that I like to call Movie Death of the Week.
Yeah. Let's do it.
It goes down smooth. I'm sure you've all seen a movie called Total Recall.
Yeah, man.
Which version?
Oh, man, the 1990s one.
Yeah, that's the only version.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Some people say the new one with what's his face? Colin Farrell. They say it's like closer to the book.
Yeah, that was the idea.
But
Who cares?
yeah, I saw that one and it was like, this is Minority Report.
Yeah.
It's like the same fucking shit.
Like, that's cool and all, but you need that Austrian accent rolling around somewhere in there. Our movie Death of the Week goes to Mr. Michael Ironside.
All right.
In the 1990s Total Recall, Mr. Ironside plays an antagonist, Richter, who is hell-bent on eliminating our hero, Douglas Quaid. Or is it Hauser? Either way. Doug is played by the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, there was this, Arnold was on Jay Leno one year. This was like decades ago. And, he was the second guest.
Right.
The first guest was Snoop Dogg. All right. So Snoop Dogg moves over on the couch, you know, like a typical talk show.
Right.
Sometimes they leave. Snoop Dogg stuck around. Arnold is in the hot seat, right? They're talking about rapping, being a rapper. And Schwarzenegger's like, I don't think I could rhyme anything with Schwarzenegger. And Snoop Dogg is like, I think I could.
Our death happens in the third act of the film, where Doug is trying to activate the alien technology on Mars that will give these people air. Richter, working for the evil Mars administrator Cohagen, has chased our hero onto the elevator that leads to the room with the alien air purifier. A fight ensues.
They're on an elevator.
Yeah, they're on an elevator.
They start throwing each other around.
And by the way, this is an interesting concept. Schwarzenegger, who is a bodybuilder, and Ironside, who is...
An Ironsider.
who has got the best last name in the business.
Yeah, okay.
As
That's
far
all
as
he
I'm
needs.
concerned. Oh, yeah.
They're both stuntmen, too. You watch this elevator scene, you don't see anybody's faces.
Yeah.
They're throwing each other around, like doing flips and shit. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
like the character Doug grabs Richter's head and like pulls it and then flips him onto his back and starts pulling him some more, and punches are thrown. And my God, Chris, they look brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one more head grab and thrown off the elevator, basically.
Yeah, he grabs Richter by his head, and he basically flings him in the air.
Yeah.
But then Richter is like, oh, no.
Yeah. Oh.
And he grabs onto the side. He's hanging off, right?
He's hanging off, but he's also grabbing onto Arnold. He's
Yeah.
like, he's got him.
Yeah.
You know, he knows he's going to die, so his next line is, "You're coming with me."
Then Arnold looks up, and he sees...
The ceiling
Yeah.
that the elevator is about to just basically go into.
Yeah.
So you've got
And then Arnold is like,
A
oh,
corner.
thank God.
you've got a corner to the elevator coming up where it becomes flush. So somebody's going to get chopped.
Yeah.
And he's basically, Ironside's using his weight to pull Arnold. Arnold, though, having visited the Church of Iron,
See you at the party, Richter.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. They were going to a party afterwards, for context.
Oh, yeah.
however, Richter will not make it there without fucking,
His arms went to the party.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
He was holding on to him by his arms, and he lost him.
They got chopped off in the adjacent floor that was coming up.
That's right. So Richter falls to his death without his arms. So no flailing like, Hans Gruber or nothing like that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your movie death of the week.
All right, well, Split Second from 1992.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Is there any other Split Second? Because to be honest with you,
There are, in fact, like 3 others.
there are?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I would imagine. I mean,
Hell no, man. There's only one.
you could call any movie Split Second.
That is absolutely true.
Okay, there's the Bible for screenwriting. It's called Story by Robert McKee.
Yeah.
And he says, if you can't think of a title for your script, every movie can be called Moment by Moment. I fucking love that. It's like, I'll never forget that. But, okay, why aren't we doing American Made or Flatliners? That's what's coming out this week.
True.
Yeah? We've heard of them.
Ron's explained this to me about at least American Made.
See, the thing about American Made is it may be Tom Cruise, but American Made reminds me of that movie Gold with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
It's like based on a true story about a lead actor getting to like jerk off for 90 minutes.
Yeah, baby.
And that's what it is. It's like, I don't know. I'm just, it doesn't attract me.
That was kind of my experience with the movie Blow with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
It was like, okay.
Because it's based on a true story, so it's about excess, and then it's about the downfall of the excess.
There's no real rewatchability to that one,
Yeah.
you know?
And Flatliners, fuck that shit. I thought it already came out. That's why we're not doing it.
Yeah, I was never going to do Flatliners.
Yeah. Okay, so Split Second, directed by Tony Maylam. And he's done a few movies, one of which was The Burning.
Yeah, I watched that last night.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a slasher movie, and it has really good reviews.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty good.
I added it to my watch list, so I want to check it out sometime.
Yeah, it's got, playing the kids, Holly Hunter,
Oh, yeah?
Jason Alexander, and Fisher Stevens. This is all of their first film ever.
Wow.
Yeah,
Fisher
man.
Stevens?
Fisher Stevens plays
Who's
a
he
character
again?
named Woodstock.
Man,
Yeah, he's Vince from My Science Project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, our only 2-part episode.
If you guys haven't heard that, go back and listen. It's fucking awesome.
Go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go. Cars.
Okay, also written by Gary Scott Thompson, who he's written a lot. Most importantly, the first Fast and the Furious movies. So, every sequel of those he makes, he gets credited for characters created by.
Right.
So he gets paid.
Yeah, man.
So, good for him.
Hell yeah.
I'm sure, like, you write a movie, you never imagine that shit.
Right.
And he's probably in his older years, remembering the days when he was a screenwriter. And I think he still works in TV, but, I wrote Fast and the Furious, and now it's like a mega franchise.
I know.
And he at least gets some sort of a check. It's entertainment industry, man. There you go.
Hell yeah.
Starring Rutger Hauer, Alistair Duncan,
Yeah, man.
Kim Cattrall. Those are your main three. I got to give a shout out for Pete Postlethwaite. Postlethwaite? There you go.
I don't know. I've always, in my mind, I've always had Pete Postlethwaite. So I don't know. And one other guy, for sure, that I want to mention. Alan Armstrong.
Who's that?
He plays the chief.
Oh, yeah?
Fuck yeah.
How do you know him?
I remember him from another favored movie of mine as a kid, Krull.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he played the leader of the bandits.
There you go.
Yeah. So this movie, Split Second, it's pretty much my favorite movie ever.
Oh, yeah. This is a childhood thing.
Yeah. This this episode is a big deal.
Oh, yeah. We've been, sitting on Split Second.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. It felt like the weekend, man. Felt like this was the time.
Yeah, this is it. Episode
69, dudes!
Yeah. Now, Split Second, the genre, it's pretty unique. It's eco-horror action.
Okay.
All right? Because I think Split Second kind of exists in the same universe as Predator 2. And they're similar movies.
Yeah.
And Predator 2 is all about the heat, know? Global warming happening. Mm-hmm. Split Second is all about the flooding.
Yeah.
The glaciers and the...
And this is in London, by the way.
Yeah.
Not in the U.S.
Because Split Second is kind of a B movie.
Oh, yeah, it's way a B movie. This movie is actually universally panned by critics. But I saw this movie in the theater. I saw it in the fucking theater as a kid when I was 12 years old, okay?
Really?
God.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That had to be awesome.
It was love at first sight, man.
Fuck yeah.
I was the perfect age, it was the perfect time, and I have loved it ever since.
I'm fucking jealous.
See, the thing is back then, most of our major critics in the newspapers, you know, they were in L.A. and stuff.
Yeah.
And this movie opened the weekend of the Los Angeles riots.
Yeah.
What?
And that's they consider that a contributing factor to why it's kind of under the radar.
Right.
You know, other shit was going on. But the set design, the water, every set, people are at least ankle deep in water.
Yeah, they're like, okay, the scene takes place in an alley. Flood it with a foot of water.
Yeah. It's the future.
Yeah. But it's only a little bit in the future. This movie came out in 92, takes place in 2008.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing as Predator 2.
Right.
I mean, I just think these early 90s filmmakers, they were environmentally aware and they cared. And then we got these films and, I don't know. I don't want to forget them. I think that it means something. $7 million budget. Hey, you can't ask for a better movie.
Oh, they were creative
with that kind of
with that,
budget.
yeah.
Talented people. You got to give props to Rutger Hauer.
Absolutely. He deserves all the props,
oh,
baby.
yeah, definitely. Especially, he plays this character that frequently has anxiety and panic attacks.
Yeah, man.
And that's something I think more people today would enjoy this movie just on that basis, just in our stressful world.
He did a great job, too. He's all doubling over and sweating it out.
Yeah.
Trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah, he freaks the fuck out. So you've got a lot of talent here. Not a lot of money, but a lot of soul and good intentions.
All right, people. Grab your coffee and your chocolates and head to the armory. 'Cause it's time for Split Second on Movies with Ron.
It's showtime.
Yeah.
Get the people out. Come on, get the people out.
All right, so we got an overhead shot of London in 2008.
Yeah.
Then we got some screen blurb that says, after 40 days and nights of torrential rain, the city is largely submerged below water as a result of devastating effects of global warming. Warnings ignored for decades have now resulted in undreamed-of levels of pollution where day has become almost an endless night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot
remember that?
about that. It's all night.
Now we're on the Thames River, and there is a police hovercraft, because they have those now, because the city's flooded.
Yeah.
And it's buzzing along, and then on the screen we see Rutger Hauer.
Fuck yeah.
And then it says, split second. And then we got Rutger Hauer in his big fucking water boots. They all got these huge buckles on them. And they're like walking down the hallway. And it shows him like getting ready, like to go out for the night. So he's got his big boots on. He's, putting his gun in his holster and shit. And he puts on his tiny little round sunglasses.
Yeah.
Like a fucking trademark for this movie. He's walking down the hall in his big ass black trench coat. Walks outside to his cool ass Jeep. Mm-hmm. His cool ass future police Jeep.
They gotta drive through all that water.
Yeah, man. And like the windshield is like a wire cage.
Yeah.
And shit. He's like ready for anything. So we see him getting in his Jeep and he's like driving through the water. And then it shows like other cops that are like, showing up to the police station. They're all doing their jobs and it's all like, they're all pretty busy. It's crime in this future.
Yeah.
And then over the police radio, you hear the chief, Alan Armstrong, saying, all units look out for Detective Stone. He's considered armed and dangerous. He is suspended. So if you see him, let me know. Durkin, where the hell are you? And now we see Durkin, played by the great Alastair Duncan. This is the first time I ever saw him in this, was in this movie. And you hardly ever see him anymore, but he does tons of voice work. Anyway, he's driving behind Stone, and he's like, I've located Stone, and I'm following him. I'm on his tail. So everybody's driving, and we can hear over the normal radio, like announcements like, Parliament is meeting again, talking about the pollution and shit. And the tides, they're higher than ever since Black November in 1999. And that's all you get to find out about what happened to
Black
the world.
November.
Yeah.
Scorpio month. Yeah. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, here it comes. So Stone's driving, and, he's smoking his cigar, and he is eating, for the first time, but not the last, these chocolate truffles that he is eating throughout this entire movie called Rah-Rahs.
Yeah. Fucking great movie.
Yeah, man. Like, never has eating chocolate, looked cool.
That's all he eats.
Yeah,
as
man.
far as you're concerned with the whole movie.
So he eats a rah-rah, he puts a cigar in his mouth, and then he lights it with a fucking blowtorch. Okay? He is like the fucking coolest guy in the world. He pulls into a parking garage, and it's under a nightclub. We see a little, a few shots of what's going on above. It's like hard, heavy music and S&M dancers with jiggly asses. And then we start to hear dum dum, dum dum, dum dum. Fucking big, loud-ass heartbeat, right? And that continues, and then Stone walks into the club. He's in the door. And this big fucking Rottweiler starts barking at him. It's a guard dog. And then he just, opens his wallet and shows his badge to the dog, and he goes, police, dickhead. And the doorman is like, "Hey, 50 quid. A 2-drink minimum." And he just shows him his badge. And the guy's like, shit. Lets him in, right? So now we're in the club, and it's all dum-go, 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 dum-go. But we can still hear dum-dum, dum-dum, right?
Yeah.
Stone walks up to the dancer, okay, who's got all this S&M fucking leather and studded gear all over her with a big mask on, but you can't see her mouth. And there's a little flap over the mouth that's snapped on with buttons, and he walks up to her and he grabs that flap And he fucking rips it off. And right then, she just sticks her tongue out at him like, I'm gonna suck your dick. And then he goes, damn it. Like he thought that was the killer. Or something, you know?
What? Either way, this is the part where you're like a young boy and you're like, I like this movie.
Yeah. This movie starts off strong. So waitress walks up to him and over the music, she's like, "Why? Can I get you anything?" And he's like, "Coffee." She's like, "For a 2-drink minimum." And he goes, 2 coffees. And we hear the heartbeat. He goes over to the phone and starts making a call to some fucking guy, I don't know. The guy on the phone's like, "I thought you were suspended, man. What's going on here?" That conversation is not important. What is this chick, this hot blonde, walks by him and she's like, "Hey, I have to go to the ladies' room. Can you watch the door for me?" And he's like, "Sure, baby." Ladies are still dancing and their tits are shaking. The dog starts fucking barking. The heartbeat, dum, 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 it's getting louder. Stone's looking around the club and he's like, "I know you're here." Now we see a shot of the blonde in the ladies' room, and something is in there with her because she is like looking up. She's looking up high too. Like whatever's there is towering above her, sitting there on that toilet. And she gets this horrified look on her face. Stone hears her fucking scream, and he's like, "God damn it!" And then he fucking busts into the fucking bathroom and just finds that hot blonde already fucking dead on the floor with her heart torn out of her chest. The bathroom is completely bathed in blood.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, Jesus." And he like kneels down to like, see if she's okay. He's like, "Damn it, she's got no heart." And he actually takes off his coat and lays it over her.
Yeah, what's his problem?
Yeah, she's just like part of the city scum.
He's got to wear that coat for the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
What's
man.
he do?
He's got a heart, man. Not like this girl.
Techno music playing like dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, man.
It's like fucking it's
an
attacking
audio
all
assault.
of your senses.
Yeah. So he can still hear this heartbeat, and he's like, "Son of a bitch!" And he gets up and he runs back out into the club, and he just pulls his gun and points it at everyone. And he's like turning around in a circle. And he's like, "All right, come on. Somebody must have seen something. Come on. Who saw it? Who saw it?" And they're all just looking at him like, "Oh shit, dude, please, God, don't shoot me, man." And he's like already like kind of fucking losing it.
Yeah.
He gets down to the dog and he's like, "How about you, dickhead?" "I know you saw it."
He's like totally vulnerable though.
Oh yeah.
It's so tender for him almost. Just because he's got a backstory. You don't know it yet.
Right.
But like he's feeling so much.
Absolutely, man. And there is no doubt. Because of Rutger Hauer, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, but his performance in Blade Runner, it was great.
Uh-huh.
Not like this.
Oh, yeah. Seriously?
Yeah, man. And it's a little heartbreaking to me that Blade Runner is what he's remembered for,
Yeah.
So he runs outside, okay? And he runs into some bum that's like already drunk, leaning up against a wall. And he grabs him like he thought he could be the killer too, Get the fuck out of here. And now he's like looking around. And then the door behind him busts open, and Durkin is there. And he's like, "Police!" And then fucking Stone just goes, "Get out of my way!" And just pushes him back in the door and slams it shut. And then he like leans up against it. And he's like trying to catch his breath and trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. He knows that fucking killer is here somewhere. Gotta be somewhere. We still hear the heartbeat. And now he is like, his anxiety is fucking hurting him. He's like doubling over. He's fucking sweating. He looks down at the ground and finds some blood, and he like wipes it up with his finger. And he looks off into the darkness and he's like, "I can hear your heartbeat. I'll find you. I'll find you. You fuck." And then it just cuts to the chief of police and Durkin. And the chief is like, "Then what happened?" "He started raving like a lunatic. It took 4 officers to subdue him." "So where is he now?" "Lock up." "What happened to him anyway?" "Serial killer killed his partner, Foster, 3 years ago. He was there when it happened." Durkin's like, "Survivor's guilt." Just plain guilt. He had an affair with Foster's wife, left her, hit the booze, went over the edge. Now he lives on anxiety, coffee, and chocolate.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
Everything there, right on the table.
Yeah, you're just like, that's all a man needs. It's all a real man needs.
Because the thing about Rutger Hauer in this movie is he's not in the best shape as he was in Blade Runner.
This is his older days.
He's like functional fat in this movie.
Yes.
And it kind of adds to it, I think. Like he's up in the years.
Yeah.
He's battling this demon from his past that killed his partner. It's this movie brings it together, man.
Fuck yeah. Durkin's like, if you ask me, he's nuts. That's what the doctors say. Here, read his file. He's worked in every hellhole in the world and been fired from all of them. They say he's the best. He is. And then Durkin's like, well, I followed him down an alleyway. He shot a trash can. That sounds like Stone. Well, maybe you'll be a soothing influence on him. Me? He's your new partner.
There you go.
Yeah, and then it just cuts to Stone for a second, just like inside of a jail cell, like shaking the bars, like let me out of here. And now, obviously, he's been let out, so they're like giving him back his guns, you know, through the police check in and out cage.
Yeah.
And he looks at that gun guy, you know, the guy who's in charge of that shit. And he's like, all right, where's my other piece, Pat? Oh, you mean the cannon? The chief has it. Says he needs to see you. It's urgent. So then Stone just like walks down the hallway to like the squad room. Okay. And as he's walking, like fucking everybody is getting out of his way. So he's in the squad room and he's at the coffee machine and he's like fucking pouring all this sugar into his coffee. And right then he gets fucked with by Pete Postlethwaite, who's like another cop on the force. And he's just like, what the fuck are you doing here, Stone? I thought you were suspended. And Stone just walks up to his ass, pulls the pen out of Pete Postlethwaite's pocket.
Postlethwaite. Fucking Oscar-nominated actor.
He's amazing in everything he's in, man.
He's worked with Daniel Day-Lewis. He plays the cop bully in this movie. And he is amazing.
Yeah, he is. So yeah, he pulls the pen out of Postlethwaite's pocket. And he just fucking stares at him. And then stirs his fucking coffee with it.
Fuck yeah.
Pete's just like fucking staring at him. And then the chief is like, Stone, get in here. So he's in there and the chief holds up his fucking sidearm, which is like a goddamn hand cannon. He's like, what the fuck is this? It's a gun. Don't play games with me. This shit's not funny. I'm not laughing. The killer's back. And then the chief looks over at Durkin, who's in the office with him, and he goes, I thought you said this killer wouldn't be back. Well, sir, all the evidence and research states that this type of serial killer doesn't come back. Stone's like, who is this? Detective Dick Durkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Durkin, man.
Yeah. The chief's like, are you sure it's him? He ripped her heart out. And then Durkin's just like, her heart? What for? I don't know. Maybe he eats them for breakfast. This wasn't in the police report. And it's never gonna be. You imagine if they found that out, they'd have a field day. So then Durkin starts saying some shit that's like, he's an Oxford graduate and he is like a specialist in serial killers. And he's like, well, I thought we were dealing with a psychotic, not a psychopath. And with such extreme strength, he must be under a large amount of stress or on some kind of stimulant. Tell me, how did you know he was going to strike at the nightclub? Stone's like, I didn't. But you were there before the incident. That's an incredible coincidence. The chief's like, the doctors say you have anxiety neurosis. Doctors don't know shit. What weapons are you carrying besides this one? And Stone's like, he's like tired, you know, he's just like sitting there and he just goes, an MP-15. Uh-huh. What else? A Glock 50. And an A3 assault shotgun. If that's not paranoid, I don't know what is. Surprised you don't have a grenade launcher. Of couldn't get a permit. And fucking Durkin, like, laughs his ass off at that shit. The chief's like, it's not funny.
This is a classic fucking scene.
I
right
know.
here.
Stone's like, I just want to be ready. For what? You can't even find him, let alone kill him. Here you are, going up alleys, shooting at water rats. Right then, Stone just like fucking looks over at Durkin, grabs him by his shirt, pulls him up, and he's just like, have you been following me? Chief's like, you're acting like a paranoid menace to society. Well, you'd be paranoid too with a dipshit like this following you. That dipshit is an expert in serial killers. Well, if he's such an expert, what the fuck is he following me for? And then the chief's like, you're officially off suspension. And then some like fucking music starts coming in. And it's like, oh shit, shit's about to go down.
After all this shit, you're off suspension.
And Stone gets this look on his face like, oh yeah? He smiles. And the chief's like, but if you fuck up again, I'll have you shipped to the worst hellhole on the planet. And then Stone's like, worse than this place? It doesn't matter. He's like so happy. But there's one condition. He goes with you. I work alone. You work with who I say, or you don't work at all. Stone just reaches down to the cigar box on the chief's desk and grabs like a way too big handful of cigars. Like it is an utter act of disrespect. And he just goes, oh, your concern for my welfare is touching. The chief's like, get the fuck out of my office. So now Stone and Durkin are together, and Stone is making another coffee. And he's like, you got a pen? So, Detective Dick Durkin, you got a car? Oh, yes, it's outside. You take yours, I take mine. Right then, Pete Postlethwaite yells out from across the squad room, hey, Stone, what's this? Are you having your own booze delivered now? And he's like, the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, shit.
And there is a delivery has just shown up, and it's like a foam cooler. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's looking at it, and he's like, "Don't touch it." It's like, "Who delivered this?" And he looks around at the cops, and he's like, getting a little paranoid, like just like he did in the club. He's like, "Who saw him?
Yeah.
Who saw who delivered this? Nobody. Nobody." And then someone's like, "It's cold," and Postlethwaite is like, "Cold enough to be full of beers." And then the chief comes out. And he's like, what's going on here? Stone just sits down and calmly says, okay. Open it. They open it up, and holy shit, it's full of ice with a human heart sitting in the middle of it with a big giant motherfucking bite taken out of it. And everybody is like, holy shit. And then Stone just looks at the chief and he goes, paranoid, huh?
Oh, shit.
The chief's like, seal off the station, seal it off. Stone's real quiet. He just goes, it's too late. He just gets up and fucking leaves. The chief yells out, Durkin, stick with him. So now it's actually daylight, but it's like very dark daylight. Okay. He said it was almost an endless night. Okay.
Yeah.
And he and Durkin have both driven separate vehicles to the nightclub from before, okay? And now it's closed, it's daytime hours, and he's going in to, like, check out the murder scene. He's walking in. As he's doing so, he, like, pulls a rah-rah out of his pocket and fucking eats it like a badass. And now it shows him in the bathroom, the big, bloody fucking bathroom. And there's, like, a chalk outline from where the dead girl was found, and Stone is laying on it.
Jesus.
He's, like, laying in the chalk outline. He looks up at the mirror, and written in blood are the words, I'm back. And it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking laying there thinking, he's looking up and shit. And then a fucking double-barreled sawed-off, like, clicks into the frame, pointing at his head. And he, like, looks up. And the doorman's like, what the hell are you doing here? I'm trying to think. Do you mind? And then the guy's like, you must be sick laying in wet blood. Then he's got the Rottweiler with him, and Stone, like, turns over and he's like, gets into the dog's face. He's like, I know you saw something.
Oh, yeah.
I know you saw it. Yeah. And he pulls out of his pocket a fucking rah-rah, and he like feeds it to the dog. And then the doorman's like, what the hell are you doing? Stone gets up and then into the doorman's face, and he goes, I was talking with your secretary.
I just remember all this being intense.
It was all intense. Outside, we see Dick Durkin, and he has walked up to Stone's Jeep, and he's like cleaning off the headlights with a rag.
He's the Murtaugh of the situation.
Oh, yeah. Stone's like, Durkin, what the hell are you doing? 80% of all accidents are due to poor visibility. Stone walks up, pulls a rah-rah out of his pocket, and then slams it onto the headlight and like smooshes it onto it. Like, fuck you. Then over the police radio, oh, there's a homicide. The killer has struck again. Stone's like, I'm on my way. And he looks back at Durkin and he goes, follow me, Dick. And now there's like a little segment of like these two Jeeps like driving through the flooded streets. Yeah. You know, they flooded a few streets for this movie, so they're like, we better use this shit, you guys.
Yeah,
you know?
It's fucking cool,
oh, yeah,
man.
So they pull up to this apartment building that's like a high rise. Stone pulls in first, stops his Jeep. Then Durkin pulls in and hits Stone's Jeep. Like real lightly, but it's like a ding. And he gets out. Stone's fucking looking at him. And Durkin's just like, sorry. So they're going upstairs. There's other cops there. You know, it's already, they're already responded. And, but I guess they can't take the elevator. So they have to run up the stairs. Halfway there, Stone just stops because he is out of shape. And he looks at Durkin. He's like, what floor? 12. And then fucking Stone just like pulls out a cigar, puts it in his mouth, and tries to strike his lighter to light it like 4 or 5 times. It won't work. And then he just puts it away and he's like, all right, come on. And then they keep going upstairs. They get to the door of the apartment. Durkin walks in, flashes his badge at the other cops, and he's just like, Detective Dick Durkin. So the coroner's in there already examining the body. All right, what do we got? You know, we've got what remains of a 23-year-old male with his heart torn out. You have a time of death. Well, you know, it's kind of hard to say, but I'd put the time of death around, and then Stone goes, 6:30. Yes, how did you know? And then Stone just walks over to the window, opens it, and is like looking out into the street. Like trying to get his bearings. He knows something's going on, and he's close.
Yeah.
Durkin walks up and he's like, is it always like this? Yes, it's always like this. And then, dum-dum, 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 fucking heartbeat. And then Stone looks over at Durkin, pulls out his gun, and fucking fires. All right? Durkin's like, what the fuck? And he shot a rat that was right over Durkin's shoulder. This rat, of course, just fucking explodes and leaves like a little bit of bloody shit on Durkin's suit. Durkin like looks back and he's like, oh, Jesus. And then he like reaches up and flicks the little bloody crap off of his suit. And he's like, I hate rats. Stone's like, sorry about the suit. And then he picks up a piece of evidence that they found, and it is a rusty revolver in a plastic bag, okay? And he like sits down and he's fucking staring at it like, what the fuck? Durkin's like, what's that? It's a message for me. Well, how do you know? And he looks up and says, it's my partner's.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Fucking creepy, man.
Fuck yeah. So he's still looking at it when all of a sudden some fucking blood starts dripping onto the bag that he is holding with the gun in it, right? And then he and Durkin just like look up, and all over the ceiling in the bedroom of this apartment is this huge astrological symbol fucking painted in blood. It's fucking big, ornate, and fucking scary looking, man. Durkin's talking about it. He's like, oh, look at that. It's a circle with an inverted triangle inside of it. And what is that? That's a astrological sign for Scorpio. And then the numbers 25 and 78. What do you think it means? I don't know. It's definitely a cult. Has a killer ever done this before? No. I wonder if he stood on the bed to paint it. If he did, he shouldn't be too hard to find. Why? He'd have to be 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to them like walking downstairs. You know, they're done there. And he's like, All right, what do you know about the occult? Nothing. I thought you were smart. I thought you were an Oxford guy. What's Scorpio? Are you serious? You don't know what that is? You must read your horoscope. Right then, Postlethwaite shows up, and he's like, Stone, this is for you. And he hands him the mold that they took out of the human heart from the station. Uh-huh. He's got it in a little plastic baggie. So then he hands Postlethwaite the rusty gun, and he's like, take this to the lab, have it checked out. The guy's like, fuck you. Stone grabs him and fucking slams him up against the wall, and there is like a lot of fucking tension. He's like, you fucking take this to the lab. You do what I fucking said. The guy fucking leaves, and then Dick looks at Stone, and he's like, lot of tension between you two. Stone just goes, oh, shut up.
I love Dick.
Yeah.
Dick is the suit guy. Wearing suits and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Bespectacled.
Bespectacled.
Yeah. Stone is the sunglasses, leather-wearing motherfucker.
Yeah, baby.
So there you go.
Outside, Stone hears the fucking heartbeat again, and he's like, ah, Jesus. And, he doesn't talk about the heartbeat. He just hears it, and he fucking knows shit's going down.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, shit, and he runs off into the alley. You can hear the heartbeat, and he's looking down at this fucking mold of the teeth. And it's like big-ass fucking teeth, man. And he's looking around the alley, and he's fucking searching, and then he yells out, show me your face! And he aims his gun up into the air, and he's like, Foster! And then just boom, 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 fires, okay? And then all the other cops, like, fucking surround him! And they're all pointing their guns at him. And Dick Durkin has to be like, okay, everybody, all right, chill out. He's with me. He's like, what happened? He's like, I don't know. But he's out here somewhere. I'm telling you, he's watching. Right then, from a point of view shot, we see, indeed, the killer is there watching from around the corner.
Yeah.
Okay. So now it cuts to the men's room in the police station. They're sitting there talking, Stone and Durkin. And Stone's like, brushing his teeth. Because, like you do on the job. Durkin's like, what happened there? What happened? We got close. That's what happened. He's like, how did you know the time of the second victim's death? Are you psychic or something? Stone just looks at him and goes, your attitude is driving me nuts. Well, it is. You are nuts. Now they're walking, and Stone's like, just talking to him while they're walking, and they are walking into the police shooting range. And he looks at Durkin, and he's like, we are not working together, and I am not nuts. He looks down at Durkin, like gives him an up and down look, and then gets in his face and goes, zip up, dick. And then he walks into the shooting range. He's loading up and he's firing at a target when Durkin's like, are there any similarities to the victims? Stone is now fucking ignoring him. He's like, you may not like me, but I'm good at this. Right? I have honors in serial homicide. I spent a year with the behavioral science division. I'm not some idiot straight out of police school. Stone is now fucking shooting these targets with the hand cannon, and he's just like, blowing the fucking arms off. Like, huge damage is done with every shot.
Oh, I was just a regular type dude with a big-ass dick.
Durkin's like, before today I thought we were dealing with a psychotic. But after hearing what he's done with the hearts, I was convinced he was a psychopath. And now that I've seen what he's done, I'd say he's both. And then, boom! The last fucking shot goes out, and Stone has now completely destroyed the target. He looks at Durkin and he's like, there are no similarities with the victims. All right? This beast don't care what it kills. Why do you call it a beast? And he goes, what would you call something with teeth like these? And then he hands him the mold. And that's when we get a really good shot of it. And they're huge, man. It's like this huge fucking set of like tiger teeth.
Yeah.
At that point, the target that he was shooting at like wheels up so you can get a look at the damage, and it's just gone. So now outside, Stone gets into his Jeep and he's like, hey, give me your keys. Durkin's like, sure, here you go. And he hands him his keys, and they've got like a little plastic Hulk Hogan on them. He's like, yes, it was a present from my girlfriend, So where are we going? Stone like slowly starts driving away with his keys in his hand, and he just goes, you're not going anywhere. And then he just drops the keys into the fucking water that he's driving in. And he just like pulls away. And fucking Durkin's like, that's not fair. So then we cut to sweet, sweet Kim Cattrall.
Yo.
All right.
Back before Sex and the City made me hate her.
A little bit after Mannequin, yeah?
And she is visiting her dead husband's inurnment. And she's in there, she's lighting candles and placing a flower, and it says like, Foster McLean. And now we see outside, Stone pulls up in his Jeep, and the name of the place where she's at is called the London Necropolis. And he goes in to go and visit Foster. He looks down the hallway, and he sees Kim, and he's like, oh shit. And he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And she's like, the same as you. I come here every time I'm in London. And it's all like quiet and awkward. Because remember, they had an affair.
Yeah.
And then he like disappeared. And he's like, you look very pretty. She's like, you look like shit. Nice. How long has it been since you slept? 4 days ago. His killer is still around. And I don't know if I can get him. And she's like, well, then don't try. You know what? Just give it up and walk away. I can't. Well, then how about just for tonight? And then it cuts to Stone's apartment.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest shithole you ever seen in your life. She walks in and immediately gets hit in the face with a flying pigeon. Because the pigeon's living there.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, Jesus. And he's like, watch your coat. I have a lot of greasy stuff.
Oh, man.
She's like, can we open a window? He's like, well, the windows are all broken. But I can open a door. And then he opens some door, and then a bunch of air like starts rushing in. She's like, oh, that's better. Because of the stank. He looks at her, and he's like, I'm sorry I disappeared on you. She's like, it's not your fault any more than it is mine. It's just the way it happened. And it's like, oh, yeah, you couldn't ask for a better reunion, you know?
Yeah.
She's taking this in stride with the greatest of ease. And he just might get laid yet. She's like, it's good to see you. You know, I heard you were suspended. Yeah, word gets around. Are you still on the wagon? Yeah. And they catch up a little bit. You know, she, works with kids now and shit. And he's like, oh, that's so nice. That's just so nice. But how are you doing? Oh, just as crazy as ever. Stone's like, looking down. And he's like, I miss him. I miss him too. How about some coffee? You got any real food? She opens up the fridge and it's like nothing but rah-rahs. It's not like fully stocked. You can tell they're all pretty old rah-rahs,
Yeah.
But she looks back at him because he's sitting on the couch and he is just sitting there sleeping and snoring. And she's like, aw. And he's got like a lit cigarette in his mouth. She walks up, she puts it out, and then she like takes his wallet, opens it up, and finds a picture of her. And she's like, aw, she gives it back to him. And then she covers him up with a blanket. And now we see him dreaming of when his partner Foster disappeared or when he was killed.
Yeah. The big moment.
Yeah. So and this happens in black and white. And you know what? Good job, Tony Malum,
Yeah.
for simplifying things for us. So it's a young Rutger Hauer and his partner Foster. And they're like walking through a foot of water, And Foster's like, hey, there's nothing here. Let's go get a beer. And then Stone just turns around and his partner is gone.
Yeah.
And he's just like, Foster? Foster? And then he fucking wakes up in his apartment. And he's got a pigeon sitting on his head. And he's like, he gets it down all nice. He just like picks it up, lets it flutter away. And then he feels his head and he has obviously been shit on. And he just kind of looks at it like, oh well. So now he gets up and he's like going over the fridge and he's eating some fucking rah-rahs. And he pulls this old, nasty, disgusting cup of coffee like out of his sink that's full of dirty dishes. And he like takes a swig. And then he just goes and starts like loading up his guns and getting ready to go out again. He looks outside and Dick Durkin has found his keys and is parked out outside of his apartment, but he's standing up on the hood of his Jeep, like doing Tai Chi.
Yeah.
And then Stone just goes, Durkin, you're sick. He walks over to Kim, and she's sleeping on the couch now, so he like touches her head. And you can see that he loves her. So then he leaves. I guess it took him a little while to get downstairs, because now Dick Durkin is asleep in his car.
Yeah.
So Stone sneaks up and ties his shoelaces together, and then turns on his car's police siren. So Dick like, fucking flails and gets out, and then falls down into the water, like with his gun drawn and shit. And he looks up at Stone, and Stone just holds up a bag of rah-rahs, and he goes, breakfast? He's like, no. Fine, I'll drive. You hop in. And Stone is now driving Durkin's car. He's just like, fuck that. So they're in the Jeep, and Stone's just like, you telling me you Oxford guys don't eat breakfast? Yeah, I do. Right after I run. What? Yeah, I run 5 miles every morning. What's the matter with you? Don't you get laid? Yeah, every night. It's like, you get laid every night and you run 5 miles every morning? Yeah. Except on Sundays when me and the girlfriend, we stay in bed and fool around. Oh, Durkin. That's disgusting.
There's a story about this after the recap, so stick with us until then.
Yeah. Then Stone hears the fucking heartbeat again, and he's like, ah! What? What's the matter? Nothing. I need coffee. And then they just drive away. After they leave, the camera stays here, and it pans onto Stone's Jeep. And then all of a sudden, this big black fucking hand just like swipes across the metal of the Jeep and like fucking rips it open. And there is this big, nice shotgun sitting inside of it. And you're like, oh shit. So Stone and Durkin are driving, and he's like, yeah, look at all these books I've got. They're all occult. He's like, yeah, did you read them? Yeah, last night. After sex. He's like, yeah, do you mind? You know what? You smoke too much. And Stone's like, it helps ease the tension. And then Durkin just goes, he just like starts rubbing his hands together, and he's like, oh, I can help with that. Massage is one of my hobbies. And he leans over and starts trying to rub Stone's shoulders while he's driving. And he's like, there you go. Just let the tension melt away. And Stone's like, get the fuck off of me. You know what? Touching me is not a great idea, pal. We're cops. So then it cuts to Kim, and she has woken up, and she's like fucking around in Stone's apartment. She's like playing with all of the junk that he has around there and shit. She walks up to the fridge, and he he has made a big giant heart out of rah-rahs stuck to the front of the fridge. And she like picks one up and eats it, and she's like,
Oh, fucking gross, man. Watching that shit when I'm like 8 years old, I'm like, no.
Yeah. So it cuts to a bar, and Stone and Durkin are going in there for breakfast, all right? And Stone orders, give me some fucking breakfast. There's a bunch of bacon and eggs and shit, fatty stuff. And then Durkin is like, yes, I'll have a croissant with, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nerd food.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think you have supernatural powers. Stone lights a fucking cigar with his blowtorch again, and he's like, you read that in one of your books? It's like, yeah, well, comics. The Black Mask. Comics are one of my hobbies. Do you have any hobbies? Not since I gave up drinking. I was like, oh, you gave up drinking. Good for you. What is it about you that reminds me of my mother? It could be the fact that I'm so charming. Listen, pal. My mother was a lot of things, but she wasn't charming. Right then, this like weird looking sexy bartender like walks up, and she like looks at Durkin, and he's like, And then he looks at Stone, and he's like, God, I love this job. And then Stone just goes, interested? And it cuts away. It's such a fucking weird part.
They have a weird good chemistry.
Yeah. So now it cuts back to Stone's Jeep, and the gun is now gone. So trouble.
Dun 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 dun.
The heartbeat starts. Dun, 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 dun. And now we see from the point of view of the killer. And it's like walking up into Stone's apartment building where Kim is. So Stone and Durkin, they're eating, and Durkin's like, I hear you used to be a good cop. And I heard you went a bit loopy. Yeah. That could be why you're psychic. I just feel things, that's all. Well, I hate to be the one to break the news, but that's what psychic is. Now we got Kim in the apartment taking a shower. And she's soaping up. We don't see anything good yet, though. The killer's point of view is fucking walking in through the door, man. So, she's fucked. Durkin's like, when's your birthday? November 10th. You're a Scorpio. That's the same sign that we found on the ceiling. Do you ever wonder why he would send you the heart? Nah, I don't fucking know. Could be because you lack compassion. Are you trying to be funny? At this point in the apartment, yeah, we hear the heartbeat, and now the killer is absolutely looking at Kim in the fucking shower. She has no idea. Back with Stone and Durkin. Durkin's like going over what they know so far. He's like, yeah, so we know that he kills during the high tides, in conjunction with the stars aligning and the new moon. Scorpio is a water sign. But, this is just off the top of my head. I'm sure you have a much better idea. And Stone's just like, nope. Right about here, now we get to see Kim Cattrall's wet tits.
Big ass titties!
Stone's talking back to Durkin, and he's like, he shows up every month on the night of the new moon, and he kills before midnight in different locations, and then he disappears. No motive, no pattern. The only thing we know for sure is he's not a vegetarian. At this point, Kim, she is sensing that something is fucking wrong in the apartment. She's still in the shower, but she turns around and she's like, Stone?
Yeah.
Now behind her on the shower curtain, we see a shadow behind her, and it is fucking big. There is a big motherfucker walking around behind her in the bathroom. Stone to Durkin is like, now what do you think? I'm not talking about your Oxford-educated fucking bullshit. All right, I want to know what you think. Right then, fucking police radio is like, all units, please respond to 16, blah, blah, blah. And then Durkin's like, and Stone says, my place. And they gotta fucking run! So they show up, fucking sirens blaring, okay? And then Stone looks and finds his shotgun from his Jeep is gone. And he's like, oh, Jesus, fuck! He's like, call for backup now! And he runs up into the apartment building. He goes in and he hears Kim fucking scream. And he's like, ah! And he fucking runs into the bathroom, pulls the shower curtain open, and is pointing his gun. She is still in there showering and turns around and gets scared shitless by what he has just done. She's like, oh, Jesus! And she slaps him in the face. And he's like, what the hell are you doing in here? She's like, I'm taking a fucking shower. I heard screaming. She's like, well, the water got colder. And he's like, the door is open. She's like, well, I didn't open it. And he's like, oh, fuck. He starts backing out of the bathroom and he looks at her and he's like, lock it. And he fucking runs outside and finds Durkin. It's like, hey, did you find anything? No. Did you? No. And then from downstairs, they hear another woman fucking scream. And they're like, oh, shit. So they run down there and they just bust into this person's apartment. They just break the fucking door down. Durkin goes in first. They run inside and then Stone's like, and he kind of moves to the side and takes cover a little bit. Durkin is walking in front of this window and he turns around and then all of a sudden gets a fucking shotgun blast to the chest and flies fucking backwards and out the fucking window.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fuck, man. But there's no time to mourn him because, click, click, fucking shotgun cocks, and now Stone has to fucking evade this giant motherfucker with the shotgun in this apartment. So he's diving behind couches and shit, and this guy keeps fucking shooting at him. Boom! Click, click, boom! And fucking Stone, he's unloading his fucking gun, from under the couch.
Yeah.
And you see the hands that are cocking this shotgun, and they are big black claws. It's fucking weird, man. So they have this shootout, and then the gunfire stops. Stone's still laying on the ground, and he sees a little trail of blood, leading out of the room. And he's like, I got you now. And he's following the trail when, bam! This giant fucking big black behemoth motherfucker just busts through the fucking wall and leaves the apartment. Doesn't go through the door, just goes through the wall. Like the fucking Kool-Aid man. Stone walks into the bathroom and finds the shotgun like sitting nicely on the toilet that is in the bathroom that is totally covered in blood with a new victim laying in the fucking bathtub. And he's like, oh, fuck. And he starts running out of the apartment and then runs into Kim. And she's like, oh, Jesus, Stone, it bit me. And he looks at her shoulder and yep, she has a big bite mark on her fucking shoulder. It's a big one too. And he just goes, don't worry about it. I'll call the medics. And then he just runs out of the apartment and fucking leaves her there. And it cuts to outside. And now there's a whole bunch of cops and paramedics there. And they're like loading the victim into the ambulance. And they're, Kim's got a blanket around her. It's got like a bloody shoulder. And they're like putting her in the ambulance. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. A couple of the medics are like, Jesus, what the fuck did this guy kill this girl with? Like a hatchet? And then Stone is just standing there watching it and he goes, he used his hands.
Yeah.
He looks over to the right, and on the steps, he sees this little girl who's just sitting there fucking catatonic. And he walks up to her and he's just like, you saw it, didn't you? Didn't you?
I remember this shit.
Yeah. And then he starts fucking flipping out again, and he's like hyperventilating and shit. He can hear the heartbeat, and the medics like see him, and they're like, he's hyperventilating, get him over here. And they like drag him over to the ambulance, and they put a little oxygen mask on him, and he's like, I'm okay, no. And he's like totally fucking flipping out.
Yeah.
And he is probably about to just start beating the shit out of everybody when somebody injects him in the neck with something, and he just like fucking passes out. At that point, he gets another vision of Foster disappearing. But this time, when he turns around, he actually does catch a glimpse of Foster disappearing into the water that he's standing in, but disappearing in it straight down. Mm-hmm. Like he fell into an underwater hole, okay? And he's like, Foster. And then behind him, yep, big, giant, fucking black monster fucking walking up behind him. And then it fucking slashes across his chest. And then Stone fucking wakes up in the hospital. He's like, oh, shit. And he's not wearing his trench coat. He's just wearing a sleeveless muscle tee. And we can see on his left arm, he has got the biggest, deepest fucking scars you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, the big claw slash.
And he's like, and then he's like trying to get up and leave when he fucking runs into Dick Durkin, who's like, hey, Stone, there you are. And he looks at the scars and he's like, Jesus Christ, no wonder you can't sleep. And then he's like, oh, and he points at it and he's like, that's it. That's your psychic connection. That's your psychic connection to the beast.
There you go.
Yeah. Stone's like, you're supposed to be dead. What, you've never heard of a bulletproof vest? But man, what a ride. And then Stone punches him in the face. Durkin's getting up, and Stone's like, don't you ask me why I did that. And he fucking leaves. He's gone to check on Kim, and, he's poured her a cup of coffee. He's like, you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Did you see anything? You saw nothing? She's like, no, just a big flash, and then the pain. And then the doctor is like walking in to check on her. And then right now, it's like kind of a weird moment in this movie. Stone just kisses her, but it's not like a big epic movie kiss by any means. It's like he like stole a kiss from her just before this doctor was going to take her away. It's actually pretty real. Like I liked it.
Wow.
And she does kiss him back, but it doesn't last long because, they're busy. So now Durkin and Stone are back in the police station, and Stone sees Postlethwaite.
Yeah.
He's like, did you get that report back from the lab? Yeah, it's on your desk. What did you find out? Read the report. He's like, God damn it, what did you find out? Like, we found traces of such and such virus. What the fuck is that? That's the virus that infects rats. Did you find any fingerprints? Just one set. Well, did you bring him in? No. Well, why not? Because they were Fosters. Remember him, your old partner, my best friend? And then Stone just grabs him by the face. Like squeezes his cheeks into his teeth and shit. And he's like, get your fucking hands off of me. Yeah, you want to tell me why you turned me in for a medical? Do you really want to know? Do you? All right, I'll tell you. Not because you caused the death of your best friend. Not because you ran away with his wife. No, but because you're past it, Stone. You're a liability. You're a fucking menace. And then the chief comes in and saves this guy's ass again. And he's like, Stone, get your fucking hands off him. In my office now. This
movie is fucking great.
Here's the thing. We really haven't seen much of the killer. We really haven't even seen all that much action.
Yeah.
This movie is all in the characters, man.
Oh, yeah.
It is so beautifully done. In the chief's office, he's like looking at Stone and he's like, I hear you came face to face with this killer. You unloaded a full clip at him. Word is you missed. Do you know me to miss? You saying you hit him? I'm saying I didn't miss. I unloaded a full clip, 450 Magnum point blank, and he disappeared. He just vanished right in front of my eyes. You saying he's superhuman? I don't know. He sure as hell ain't like you and me. Durkin runs in and he's like, look at this. I've got the report back from the lab. The genetic fingerprints from the DNA. You should see this. Chief's like, what is it? He's got the DNA structure of all of his victims. Like everybody he's ever killed has left, like he has assimilated some of their DNA.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Serial killer monster.
Yeah. And the chief's like, it also says here that it has, and Durkin's like, it has Stone's DNA too. From when it slashed him, right?
Yeah.
And then Stone's like, fuck. And he fucking runs out of the room. Chief goes, stick with him. And Durkin, yes? Watch your ass. So Durkin finds Stone like leaning up against the coffee machine. Like freaking out. Trying to fucking make sense of this shit.
Yeah.
And he's obviously pretty worried. Durkin's like, those DNA tests, they can be wrong, Yeah. He didn't get a heart, though. And then Stone, like, looks up, fucking looks at him. He's like, what did you say? The last victim. He didn't get a heart. He fucking grabs Durkin and he's like, that means it's gonna come back. And Durkin's like, oh. And then Stone just goes, are you ready to die? The morgue. Come on. And then they just start running down the hallway of the police station. And fucking Stone is just like, out of my way, fucks. Like all these cops, like he's like throwing them out of the way. They're jumping him out of the way. Nobody fucks with Stone.
Yeah.
They fucking make it to the morgue door. And Stone is just like looking into the window. And it's all kind of dark. But Stone's just like, he's in there. And now we can hear the heartbeat. Dunk, 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 dunk.
Yeah.
So they walk in and they're like creeping in, guns drawn, okay? They're creeping around and then fucking Durkin just goes, I'll just wait outside. And Stone like pushes him forward like, get the fuck in there. And Durkin says, I didn't think you'd buy that. So they're creeping and the fucking heartbeat still going, dunk, 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 dunk. And there's fucking bodies on slabs everywhere and there's like clear, foggy plastic curtains all over the place.
Yeah, that is the primary characteristic of this scene.
And then Durkin sees a fucking shadow behind one of the curtains. And he's got his gun. And he fucking walks up to the shadow. And then he busts in through the fucking curtain. And he's like, don't move or you're dead! And it's just, a morgue technician, like eating a sandwich. Okay? And then fucking Durkin goes, what are you eating? The killer eats the hearts, right? And then Stone like walks in and like lowers Durkin's gun for him. And he's like, Durkin, he works here. And then he walks out and he's like, still looking around, still hunting. It's all tense and shit.
I love that that's like, who's crazy now?
Yeah. Oh, there's more to come, baby. So Stone's fucking creeping. And then on one of the curtains, he finds written in blood the words, for you. And it's like, oh, shit. And then blood starts to drip onto the curtain. And they look up slowly, and it's like that fucking scene in Aliens where they're like, oh, shit. And now all the ceiling tiles, they're like moving around. And there's something walking up above them.
Yeah.
And it's walking towards them. And right above them, it fucking stops. And then Durkin's like, what, you think it's gone? Stone's like, yeah. Right. And then boom, this big fucking monster man just fucking crashes down through the fucking ceiling and is like swiping at him and shit and like running away. And they just have to fucking keep shooting. But all of these fucking plastic curtains all over the place, like you can't really fucking see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And it fucking like runs by the victim and shit. And they're fucking shooting this fucker. And Durkin's like, I hit him. I know I hit him. And then the monster pulls another fucking Kool-Aid man and runs right through the fucking wall. But this wall is like made out of like fucking concrete and steel. All right. So like all this steel is like bent over, and they look out the hole and they see it has gone through a few walls.
Yeah.
All the way out of the building.
Oh, man.
Stone finds Durkin and he's like, did you see him? Durkin's like, he is fucked now. He's like, he's fucked up in the head. He's like, that wasn't a him. That was a fucking it.
Yeah.
And he's like, we've got to get bigger guns. Stone, calming him again, is just like, take a deep breath. Relax. Okay. And then Stone leaves. Durkin is like fucking still hyperventilating and freaking out. And he walks up to the hole that the monster busted in the wall and he touches it, and the metal is fucking hot.
Yeah.
So he like, it burns him. And he's walking out and he's just like, we need bigger guns. Big fucking guns. He's following Stone down the hallway, and then like some normal cop just like walks out of a door, and Durkin like pulls his gun on him. And then he's like, oh, sorry. So Durkin is like now fully invested.
Oh yeah, he is Stone now.
He's not Stone yet, but we are getting there. So he's walking down the hall and he's like, Stone, we need some big fucking guns. Cuts to Stone and Durkin, and Stone is like feeding Durkin coffees like over and over. Durkin's like chugging them. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, another. And Stone's like, did you see its eyes? Durkin says, what I saw was this huge fucking thing. Like, he's still fucked up, man. You're never going to forget this shit.
Oh yeah.
Stone's like, how you feeling? You okay? Yeah, I feel on edge. Yeah. And then Stone's like, good. Have one of these. And he gives him a rah-rah.
Oh God.
Fucking Durkin just like fucking takes it, starts chewing it, and he's chomping it down, and he's like, yeah. He's like breathing all hard and shit. And then fucking Stone's just like looking at him, and he goes, Durkin, you really get laid every night? Durkin, with his mouth still full, just like, oh yeah. And he says, so, now what? Stone's like, now. And he takes the cigar out of his mouth and puts it into Durkin's, and he goes, we're going to get bigger guns. He walks away. Durkin like takes a big old puff of the cigar and blows out the smoke, and he just goes, hallelujah. And he just follows him.
Do you really get laid every night? Like it was on his mind the whole time.
So like I said, this movie, fucking all in the characters, man.
Dude, totally.
So now we get the gun shopping free-for-all.
Fuck yeah.
But it's not your typical free-for-all. It's not like they're like taking every gun that they see, okay? What happens is Durkin is now like leading them through the fucking gun depot in the police station. And there's that old guy, Pat, who's like there to sign them in and out and shit. And he's like, well, now what are you two doing in here? And he's like, and Durkin's like, R1 grenade launcher. Right. That's what that is. SA-80. And he's like, yes. They're too fucking small. And the old guy is like, what the fuck? Fucking looks at Stone and he's like, what's he on? And Stone goes, chocolate. And then Durkin's like, wow. And he finds what he's looking for. And the old guy's like, no. That's an assault shotgun, fully automatic. Durkin's like, yeah. Okay, now, nowadays, we have fully automatic shotguns.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They do not look like these.
No.
These auto shotguns look like fucking miniguns. They have like 6 spinning barrels and shit like that.
Shotgun Sam Penny guns.
Yes, shotgun Sam Penny guns, exactly. I wish automatic shotguns of today looked like this. So the old guy's like, no, hang on a minute. This thing fires 650 rounds a minute. Durkin's like, yeah. And then he hands one to Stone, and the old guy's like, well, what do you need 2 for? Stone picks something up and the old guy's like, no, that's a megaton flash grenade. You could kill a jungle with just one of those. Oh, yeah. And then Stone's just like, okay, let's go. And then they run out of the room and the old guy turns around with a clipboard. He's like, now if you could just sign for these, but they're gone. They're out in the hallway and the chief finds them and he sees what they have and he's like, what the hell? Who authorized this? At that point, Durkin's like, shit. Why didn't I think of it before? And he's like talking about the original Scorpio symbol they found on the ceiling with the 25 and the 78.
Yeah.
And he's like, 25, 78, 25th year, 78th cycle, the Chinese calendar.
Fuck.
2008 now, this year. 2008 is the year. The inverted triangle. It's not only a symbol of evil, but it's also a symbol for water. And then Stone's just like, what about the circle? And the chief is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
For real.
They pay no attention to him, and Durkin's like, the circle is a symbol of magic and power. Everything inside the circle is protected from everything outside. Chief's like, what the fuck is he on about? Durkin just looks at the chief and like screams into his face like, he's eating their hearts for Christ's sake. How do you know? Stone's like, we had lunch with him. So Durkin discerns that through eating the hearts, like this killer feels that he's like gaining their powers and shit. And he obviously is gaining something from them because he now has their DNA.
Yeah.
So then the chief is like, so what do you think? What should I be looking for? A fucking demon who's like walking around eating hearts and just people's souls to take them back to hell? And then Stone's just like, yeah, it looks that way. I suppose he's got horns and a fucking pointy tail. And it just cuts to Stone's apartment. Durkin is walking in it for the first time, and he's like, this place is amazing. And he like sits down on a motorcycle that Stone has in his apartment.
Oh yeah, he's got a motorcycle in the apartment.
Yeah, like he's like working on it, you know?
Dude, blast from the past. Here we go.
So Durkin's like, all right, what do we know so far? We know that we are not chasing it. It's chasing us. You want coffee? Yeah, sure. He's like, all right. So he's making some coffee and shit. And then he's like, you want milk? Yes, just a drop. And then Stone opens up his fridge and finds a fucking plate with a big bloody fucking heart on it. Ooh. And he's like, oh, Jesus, fuck. Durkin looks and he's like, oh, shit. And then Stone just picks up the plate with the heart on it. Okay. And he goes, this thing is really starting to piss me off. And he fucking walks over to his window, opens it, and just throws the heart out. Like,
fucking for real.
The evidence, you know? Just throws it down into the fucking dumpster. And then Durkin's like, Stone, I think you need a plumber. They look down the hallway at the bathroom door, and there is water just fucking flooding out from under that shit. And we can hear that there's water actually running inside. Stone busts in and finds Kim in the bathtub. She's wearing her clothes, but she's in this overflowing fucking bathtub, and she is crazily fucking washing her hands, like just scrubbing them with all this soap and shit. Uh-huh. And he's like, Kim, what's going on? She's like, I touched it. Oh my God, I touched it. He's like, oh, the heart? You touched the heart? Oh, it's okay, I'm here. And she's like freaking out. She's inconsolable. And he's like, is there something else wrong? What's going on? And she's like, Foster's mom killed herself. And he's like, oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. Durkin is watching from the door, and he's like, Stone, the bite on her shoulder. Stone's like, I know. That means he's got her DNA too. I know. He's walking out of the bathroom, and then Kim goes, Harley. And then Durkin's like, he stops, and he's like, I'm working with a guy called Harley. And he just starts to laugh. He's like quietly laughing.
This is the first time we know his first name?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then Stone just goes, oh, you think that's funny? And fucking Durkin's laughing. And then Stone just goes, what's so great about Dick Durkin? And then fucking Dick just starts laughing even harder. Like, I fucking know, man. Oh, my God.
And then Stone, a fucking motorcycle in his apartment.
Yeah. Stone's like, I'll see you in the car. And Durkin leaves, and then Stone like chuckles. Like, he knows it's funny. I read that Durkin's laughter in that scene was real when they were filming it. But Rutger Hauer like kept it together so well that the director kept it in.
That is an awesome scene.
Yeah.
So he goes back to Kim and he like kneels down and he's like rinsing her hands off and he's like, which hand was it? Was it this one that touched it? And he's like washing it off for her. And she's like, is he going to come after me now? He's like, no, he's getting desperate. So am I. Now Durkin is outside waiting at the Jeep and we can see from a point of view shot that this fucking thing is like lurking around him outside. Stone hears over the radio, Stone, something moving down at the back of the alley. I'm going to go and investigate. So now Stone, he gives Kim a kiss, and he's going to go and help Durkin out, see what's going on there. Gets outside, no Durkin. No Durkin, no Jeep. So he's got his automatic shotgun, and he left his hand cannon with Kim. So he's outside, and he's walking around. He's wearing his fucking trench coat and his little glasses. He's got this big Sam Penny shotgun, and he just looks cool as fuck. Walking down the alleyway. And all he sees is like rats and then like a whole bunch of bums and shit. And he's like looking. And he's calling to the radio for Dick. And then he fucking looks down and finds Durkin's glasses crushed on the ground. And he's like, oh, fuck. At this point, we see Kim in the apartment. And she's pointing the fucking hand cannon. You know, she was holding it to make her feel better. But now something might be going on. There's like a laser sight on it. And she's pointing it. Now we hear the fucking heartbeat. And she cries out, Harley! It cuts back to Stone, and he runs into Durkin's Jeep. He finds it, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, Dick, where are you? And he hears, goes and opens up the back of the Jeep. Dick Durkin is tied up in the back of his own Jeep. He pulls him out, and he's like, what did you see? What happened? Like, I don't know, I didn't even fucking see him. Oh, you're bleeding, man. He's got blood down the front of his shirt, and Dick's like, what's it done to me? I'm gonna find the fucker. I'm gonna find the fucker and kill him. Now back with Kim. There is definitely something in the fucking apartment, and she's like fucking looking up at it, and then it's like, I guess it's gone, and she's like down on the couch, holding the gun, like looking around, and then all of a sudden, up through the leather of the couch cushion she's sitting on, comes these big, giant fucking claws. They look like something out of Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, fuck. She gets back. And now we don't see the creature or the killer, but we see her reaction to it. And she's like looking way, way up at it. And she points her fucking gun at it. And she's just like, rat bastard. And then she fucking shoots. Boom. Now Stone and Durkin, they heard that shit. So they're like, oh, fuck. They got to run back upstairs. They get into the apartment, and she is fucking gone. Stone's running through the apartment looking for her, and Durkin just fucking opens fire and goes full auto in the kitchen of this apartment. Completely destroys it. Stone runs out, and he's like, what the fuck? There was a rat. So I shot it. You shot my kitchen, that's what. I also missed the rat. And then Stone like picks up like a tail with a little bit of meat hanging off of the end of it. And he goes, this one? And then Durkin's like, oh, cool. He looks down at his shirt and he's like, I'm bleeding. And then he just faints. So he wakes up and Stone has him laid out on the floor with his shirt open. And there is a giant fucking astrological Scorpio symbol carved into his chest. Yeah. And it's all bloody and shit. And Durkin's like, oh my God, what's it done to me? And Stone at this point, little convenient writing right now, like, but it's totally forgivable given the awesomeness of this movie. Stone's just like, yeah, we've been thinking about this symbol. What if we've been going about it all wrong? What if the symbol is really a map? And then Durkin's like, what do you mean? And then Stone just like holds a mirror up so Durkin can see it. And he superimposes it onto a map. And he's like, see the Scorpio symbol? It's pointing at this street downtown, Cannon Street. And then Durkin's like, yeah. And if he's there, then Kim's there. Yeah. And then fucking Stone's like, all right, let's go. And he fucking slaps Durkin on the chest. So they got to go see a guy that Stone knows. It's going to help him get to this street and, you know, more specifically, under this street.
Yeah.
So they go to meet the rat catcher, which is this odd character they put into this movie just for fun, you know, like, Yeah, I'm a guy who lives down under the streets. I live in the sewers and I catch rats. That's what I do for a living, okay? And he's got a couple of employees and they're all fucking weird, okay? And Durkin hates rats, so he's all scared.
Yeah.
The guy's like, so, Stone, what do you want, Stone? I need to get to Cannon Street fast. Oh, you can't get over there, that's blocked off, you don't want to go there anyway. A couple of people, they tried to go back there a month ago, and they never came back, man. Yeah, people don't come back from there. You don't want to go there. Yeah, I do. Nah, man, you don't want to go there. And then he just points his fucking auto shotgun into the guy's face, and he's like, yeah, I do. Oh, it's gonna cost you. Stone to Durkin is like, you got any cash? No, credit cards. Give him your watch. Like, yeah, you're not going to need time down there, man. You're not going to need time where you're going. So now he has to lead them through the sewer. Okay, and it's all dark and gross and shit. Durkin's like, I hate rats. The old guy is like, well, but they love you though, okay? Yeah, they love him. They have to go through these secret doors that only the rat catcher has keys to and shit. Durkin's like, where does he find these people? Okay, guys, this is as far as I go. And he let them go down a ladder, and now they're walking around in sewage and shit.
Mm-hmm. What's that smell?
Oh, that would be me. I've been swimming in raw sewage. I love it.
And the rat catcher is up above them, and he's like, okay, that's it. Stone's like, hey, are we going to need any of those keys? And the rat catcher's just like, and then he just drops the keys into the sewage. Stone looks at Durkin and he's like, get the keys. Okay, guys, I wish you well. So they go on alone and they find on a wall a zodiac symbol that's been drawn in blood. And Durkin is like, if I were a religious man, I'd say this thing doesn't think it's Satan. I'd say it is Satan. Stone's like, well, Satan is in deep shit, and then kicks the fucking door open. So they walk into this fucking the lair of this thing now, and there's big music starting up, and they're doing a slow hunt, okay, and they're looking around, and it turns out where they are is actually an old abandoned tube station, subways and shit.
Yeah.
Durkin passes a very old and decrepit rah-rah machine on the wall. The weirdest fucking thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And he looks over at Stone. He's like, Stone, you want a rah-rah?
Jesus.
Yeah, Stone's like, no. Fucking Durkin bangs on the machine to just get it to open so he can have free chocolate. It opens up and it is full of fucking rats, and every one of them jumps out onto Durkin.
Oh, jeez.
So he freaks out a little, and he's walking behind Stone when all of a sudden he just fucking drops into the water and fucking disappears. Stone turns around and he's like, Durkin? Durkin! And looks around and there's just bubbles coming up from where Durkin was standing. And he's like, oh shit. It's all happening again.
Yeah.
And then very, very slowly, Durkin just rises up out of the water. Indeed, he fell into a hole and then felt stupid and came out slowly, And Stone's like, Durkin! Don't do that again. It's not funny. Stone keeps going and he's like, he's down here somewhere. I can smell it. They walk up to this door and then Durkin's like, is it close? It's behind us. And the fucking heartbeat, dum dum, dum dum. We can hear it. It's real fucking loud, right? They fucking open this door and there is the rat catcher and his employee, and they are standing up on their feet, but they are dead as fuck, and then they just fall out the door.
Oh, jeez.
Durkin fucking flips out. He's like, oh my God, we gotta kill it. We gotta kill it. Stone's like, Durkin, calm down. I'm here. Durkin's feeling his chest, and he's like, my chest, it's burning. It's burning. Stone says, listen, do you hear the heartbeat? Dunk, 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 dunk. It's not yours. You understand? And then Durkin's like, oh, yeah. Because now it's got his DNA. So he's got a psychic connection as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go get him. And now they hear Kim scream off in the distance. They come out into an open area and they find Kim hanging from the ceiling, bound at her hands, but hanging in the middle of this weird shaft of bright light. Okay, and it's a circular light.
Yeah.
Stone just goes to run up and pull her down, and then Durkin's like, no, the circle, don't break it, don't break the surface. Stone stops and he looks up at Kim and he's like, sorry. And she just nods at him like, it's okay, I get it. Don't break the circle, It's not a big thing. Durkin jumps up on top of the train that's right next to her and he's like, okay, swing to me, right? Swing to me, get your legs up here, come on, swing. Stone's like, yeah, come on, swing, get your legs, swing at him. While he's standing there trying to tell her how to do that, we see a POV shot of the monster's vision, and it's under the water, and it's like right next to Stone's feet. Just as Durkin gets Kim into his arms, the monster busts up out of the water, right out of the circle, okay? And when it busts up, it doesn't roar or anything. It goes, hey. It's like a super breathy monster, okay?
Yeah.
Hey. And Stone's fucking shooting at it with his fucking shotgun. Bum, 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 and it's gone. Durkin falls off the train. Kim is still on top of it and just starts running down the length of it, okay? And then behind her are the claws fucking punched up through the roof of the train and like running down the train and fucking following her, cutting the metal as it goes. Ooh. Stone is also following it, and he's like shooting into the train, boom, 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 all along the train, okay? Finally, he jumps into the train, and he's like looking for it. Okay. And he dunk, 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 dunk. And he reaches the end of the train where there's one more car, but it's totally black darkness inside that car. And he like points his shotgun into the darkness, and he's like, fuck it. I'll just fire into it. It's cool. Yeah. Click. Fucking empty.
Yeah.
And the heartbeat. Dunk, 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 dunk. And then Stone, who's standing in front of that darkened door, he just turns back around and he's like, Foster? And then all of a sudden the fucking clawed hand comes out above his head and then rests on top of his scalp.
Yeah.
And just like is holding him like gently by the head.
Yeah.
Stone fucking freezes. Like, and if you watch his face, you see for the first time, he might be a little scared. Okay, this might be a little too much. The clawed hand comes down over his face and then lifts back up and it pulls the glasses off of his face. Now it reaches back down and starts heading towards his crotch. And you're like, what? And it grabs his gun belt and like rips it away. As it does that, Stone rolls forward and he still has his auto shotgun in his hand. He turns around and he has got this thing fucking dead to rights. And he pulls the trigger, but again, we know the gun's empty, so it just clicks. All of a sudden, the monster just starts getting filled with fucking bullets from above, and it's Durkin. He's fucking shooting that fucking thing! And he yells down to Stone, get out of there! And then he drops the megaton flash grenade into the train. Stone, Kim, and Durkin all like jumped away from the train, and then boom, this fucking thing goes off. And it's bright, but it's not just bright. Like it was still sort of destructive. Like the train kind of blew up a little bit.
Yeah.
While it blows up and it looks like the big bright flash from the grenade, we see Stone and Kim kissing. Like he got her. So after the train blows, there's like electrical cables that are like swinging around and like and fucking Stone's just like, watch this. And he runs towards the cable. At this point, Dick looks at Kim and he's like, I don't believe we've been introduced. My name is Detective Dick Durkin. And she's like, yeah, I'm Kim. Oh, good. It's nice to meet you. Stone picks up the, the live electrical cable and he's like, I'm going to fry the fucker. And he looks at Durkin and he's like, shut it off. Durkin goes over to the fuse box and he's like trying to get it open. Like, hang on a second. Kim just walks up and she's like, girl power, and like breaks it open.
Yeah.
So Durkin shuts the power off to the cable and he's like, all right, say when. Now Stone walks up to the train where the monster is still there. He's still alive, but he's like hurt. Yeah. And it's like kind of rising up out of the smoke a little bit. And as it does this, it's going like, hey. I might also add that this monster looks like Venom.
Yeah.
Okay. He has got this huge mouthful of teeth. This is the part where we really get a good look at his face. And his eyes, like, it's weird. He's got these little tiny slits. But yeah, man, those fucking teeth. He's just like a head and teeth.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey. And then Stone takes the cable and like jams it down into like where he is. And he just looks at the thing and he goes, "Relax, pal." And then he runs out and jumps and is hanging from the ceiling. So his feet are not in the water. Durkin sees this and he's like, "Get out of the water." So he and Kim get out of the water too. And then Stone's like, "When?" Durkin says, "Are you sure?" Stone goes, "What?" Kim's like, "He said when." "Durkin!" And then Durkin's like, "Okay," and throws the switch and then fucking electrocutes this thing. So there's this huge electrical blast. And then Stone yells out, "Off! Durkin, off!" So he jumps down and then the monster fucking runs out of the train. And it's like, "Roar!"
Jesus.
It comes out and it fucking grabs Stone. And it's like, "You can't kill me, motherfucker," you know? And Stone, it's got him by the throat, okay? And it's like lifting Stone up. And, so he's pretty much fucked.
Yeah.
And it's showing his fucking venom teeth and it's going, "Hey." But Stone realizes this thing has actually been weakened. So in turn, he fucking grabs it and like turns around and slams it up against the train. And then he just jams his fucking hand into this thing's chest and rips its big black fucking heart out.
Nice.
And the thing is like, "Yeah." And he's holding this heart and it's like a fucking bowling ball. It's going like, "Dunkong, dunkong, dunkong." Kim and Durkin fucking fill the monster with bullets that like they go ahead and kill it, but the heart is still beaten. And then Stone's like holding it and he pulls out his hand cannon and he points it directly at the heart. And then he goes, "Sweet dreams." And boom, blows it away. So no more dunk, 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 dunk.
Nice.
They're walking away out through the tube station and Kim's like, "Is it dead?" Stone says, "Durkin?" And Durkin goes, "Well, that's a difficult question to answer with a simple yes or no. Philosophy of death is one of my hobbies. Existentially, Durkin!" And then Kim's like, "Tell me later." And they all fucking leave. But the camera doesn't. And the camera pans down to the water. And now some bubbles start coming up. Bloop, 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 bloop. So there may be more than one of these assholes.
Huh.
So then it cuts to them on a boat in the middle of the Thames.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
They're on a fucking boat.
And they're like speeding back to the station, speeding home. And we get a voiceover from Durkin. And he's like,
shit.
"Once again, the Black Mask triumphs over evil. Yes, Detective Dick Durkin and his psychic sidekick, Harley Stone, can come to lights for a moment before they're once again called to fight the forces of darkness." And then Stone's like, "Durkin, shut up!" And then the credits roll, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh my
Yep.
God. Fucking callback to the comic books, his
Yeah,
hobby and
baby.
shit. Oh man. We did it. We went full circle.
We fucking did it.
We did it to the movie we wanted to do.
There you go.
God.
There you have it, folks. Split second on Movies with Ron.
Good job, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Hell yeah.
You want to keep going?
Let's do it.
All right. With more movies, I mean. This was the one we wanted to do.
Well, yeah, we're not done. I mean,
Yeah. We were waiting for it, though.
All right. Bye, folks.
this is it.
I mean, 2018, the world's going to end. Fucking John Denver and
I
shit.
guess, yeah. You might be right. This was fun, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, it was.
How about years ago, we couldn't find this movie on video?
That is correct. And I did end up finding it on DVD. And this is years ago.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
The early days of eBay. Right
Absolutely.
when it hit.
Yes. And I had to fight my ass off to buy the one copy of Split Second that was available on the internet at that time, because this is back when DVDs were in like cardboard booklets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, this DVD was already out of print. I ended up paying $80 for this movie.
Dude, it was worth it.
It
Small
was,
price.
man. It was totally worth it. It is the crown jewel of my collection.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
It's too important. Let's talk
Oh,
about...
I felt lucky to have gotten it for $80.
Oh, yeah, totally. Let's talk about your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to get a poster for you.
The autograph poster of Rutger
No,
Hauer.
it wasn't autographed, but it was like a European poster.
Yeah?
It was like special. It was Split Second.
Yeah.
See, folks, Split Second has been like something close to our hearts our whole lives.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up getting the poster tube in the mail.
Yeah.
I open up the tube. It's completely empty.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? Fucking eBay, man. This is what I get for trying to like trust the internet
Yep.
and buying shit online. And I message the username,
Yeah.
and then I get a message back, and it's the wife of the guy who's selling all this shit.
Yeah.
And she's like, my husband, he's had a mental breakdown.
What?
So some weird shit went down, and you got an empty tube. So I couldn't get the fucking poster, dude. Yeah, totally.
Did you get your money back?
I don't know. I can't remember. It was
Okay,
too
it
long
was
ago.
a long time ago.
Too long ago. And so I go to RutgerHauer.com.
Yeah.
Right? I go to the source.
Yeah,
And I'm
right.
like, I want an autographed picture for my brother.
Yeah, for
You
me.
know? Yeah. For Ron. And I want the message to say, see, he has this thing. He has a charity.
Yeah, the Starfish Foundation.
The Starfish Foundation.
Yep.
If you make a donation, he'll send an autograph.
Yeah.
Right? So I want the autograph to say, Ron, you get laid every night and you run 5 miles every morning. You're sick. And I'm like, perfect. It's
Yeah,
a
man.
perfect gift for my older brother.
Yeah,
right?
hell yeah.
So I donate like $14
Oh, weird.
to the Starfish Foundation, right? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get the autograph,
I know.
right? Fucking bullshit. And later on, I send a message to the charity.
Yeah.
And they give me the runaround, dude.
Yeah.
And we never got it.
No.
We never got it, dude. Rutger Hauer, we've loved him for so long. And
I don't blame Rutger Hauer. He's a busy guy.
yeah, and you know what? Getting gypped by a charity, if I had to choose to get gypped by anyone,
It would be the Starfish Foundation.
yeah.
It's okay. And I'll tell you what, folks, on my birthday, instead of giving me this, he told me the whole story, which to me was just as good.
So I hope some children in Africa benefited from my donation.
I hope so too.
And you know what? Look up Rutger Hauer. I don't know if he's still online, but look up the Starfish Foundation.
Yeah.
If you've got any soft spot in your heart you want to give away, there you go. There's an opportunity for you.
Yep, there you have it.
All right. So it's not going to be when you hear this, but today is actually the,
International Podcast Day. Yeah.
all right. If you want to show some love, leave us a rating and review. If you're on Apple Podcasts, you know, any other app you love that we're on, add us to your favorites. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, reach out on Facebook.
Yeah, we got a group on there. We're also on Twitter at Movies with Ron.
You're so drunk.
I know.
Check us out on movieswithron.com.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Yep, love you.
Take care.
End of transmission.
That's the best show I ever did.